So as we mentioned before, my name is Michael Kennedy. I have my co-founder and business partner, Manny Ramirez. We own ClearMoves, which is an invisible aligner consultant company, and Yankee Tech Digital that we deal with all the components necessary to do the clear aligners. We've been in business well over 12 years, but we've been doing the digital technology for over 12 years. We got into ClearMoves aligning. We've been consulting for quite some time, helping doctors over the years with getting the right technology to do in-house aligners. We've had experience in digital dentistry and x-ray integration for well over 20 years each, so probably 40 years combined. And we've traveled all over the world kind of looking for the best solutions. We've been to different countries seeing what do they have as far as technologies for intraoral scanners, for printers, what works, what doesn't work. There's been a lot of intraoral scanners that have been on the market that are no longer on the market, a lot of 3D printers that have been on the market that are no longer there. And it's one thing that we have to be very cautious when we're looking at this type of technology to make sure that we have the right accuracy when we're doing procedures, whether you're doing scanning for ortho, whether you're doing scanning for general practice. And I know that there's probably going to be some general practitioners out here. You have to look at the technology that can do both for you. Some scanners do a wonderful job with scanning for ortho, but not such a great job when you're trying to do intricate things such as implants and crown and bridge. So that's kind of how we developed where we're at today. And we wanted to get into, kind of backing up what Dr. Fisher said, what is the cost of invisible aligners? And you look at, is it $5, $10, $15, $20? Is it $200 per aligner? And you look at it in that it's really dependent upon how much you're willing to do in-house. As Dr. Fisher said, it takes a lot of time. And the way I do that is you look at it, can it be made for $10 in the office? Absolutely. Can it be $15? Sure. And I say $200 per aligner because we look at the opportunity cost of that as well. And you say, okay, what is it really costing me to not be in the chair to either do the treatment planning and to kind of monitor my staff? And some doctors are extremely efficient at doing it. And it makes sense for them to do it, and that's perfect. And we've helped a lot of those doctors out over the time. But it really does look at it. We've had some doctors say, look, it's taking away from my quality of life. I'm spending the majority of my time treatment planning when I could be with my family, or I could be treating another patient, doing a higher dollar procedure, or I could be spending time marketing or promoting my practice. You look at additional considerations. Dr. Fisher said, he has somebody that's wonderful in his office that does a lot of his digital processing. You have to make sure that you can depend on those staff to be there, because if they're not, it does lead to downtime in the practice, which is something to consider. Obviously, I'm not trying to paint a negative picture, but these are costs that are involved when you're looking at what do I do in the office. So most importantly, we found that you really need to align yourself with professionals to help assist in the process, whether it's, reaching out to Dr. Fisher and definitely speaking to Dr. Wilson about, what to do, how to do it. We find that doctors that are trying to do it on their own, they may have gone to a wonderful seminar on, how to do aligners and the technology that you need. And they buy all this technology and they get to a point where, what do I do? I'm stuck. How do I do this? So you really need to have the right systems in place to monitor and audit your treatment, as the other doctors have said on the webinar already. And that's paramount to make sure that you're getting the case done and it's tracked properly and the patient's getting optimal care from you and your staff.
Right. I think it's very important to understand that there is a lack of trained professionals in the field that understand this type of technology and how to implement it and make it efficient, right? And I believe that that's why we're into this, to enhance the doctor's ability to provide the services to those patients. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Correct. No. So you look at different industry, some of the problems that we see out there, and it's not, direct to consumer really isn't a problem. I mean, it really helped bring to light the fact that clear aligners are out there. But what we see is, a lot of unmonitored patient care, and this is not with the large company. There's a lot of smaller companies that are out there that we've seen, and we're just kind of cringing in how they're going about it. So there are some definitely direct-to-consumer systems that are out there that do a great job, but we look at it and we say, okay, how can we do this better? A lot of third-party aligner solutions or companies that are out there producing the aligners that are not being monitored. They don't have FDA certification, and we're looking at what is the quality that they're doing. So if you're going to outsource, these are important factors to consider, making sure that whoever's doing the treatment planning, whoever's manufacturing the final product has a certification, because it has to be accurate, because this is what you're putting in your patient's mouth, obviously. As well, and there's a lack of companies out there that really understand the white label manufacturing. So this is a perfect webinar to be on with Dr. Wilson and some of the other panelists that are here, because they have done this, and we have a gentleman that does the marketing. He'll be speaking later. I think that's a wonderful kind of platform to be in today.
Right. It's important. The marketing piece is it's vital to the livelihood of the practice, right? And I think that he's going to expand on that. Yes. So yeah, as a company, we provide 360-degree service, or what we call concierge solution, and we can provide different levels of services depending on what the doctor needs from us, from consulting to manufacturing. We can provide the equipment, the materials that they need in the office, as well as also providing the digital workflow, right? A lot of times people don't understand how to move from point A to point B. And we have taken the time to work with some of our KOLs, or key opinion leaders, to kind of perfect that process, right? And so through that, we have learned some best practices in how to follow certain procedures. Mike, so go to the next. So we identify 4 possible scenarios, which are described here, and we can go in more depth if you prefer, but obviously you have the full in-office, like Dr. Fisher indicated. He's taken the time to learn how to do the whole process, right? But then you have the other, which you outsource completely everything, right? Where you say, I have a scanner, give me a treatment plan. Now give me an aligner that I can put on my patients. Then you have different variations where you can either just design and we can manufacture, or the other way around, where we just manufacture and you design. Next, Mike. You go ahead.
So ClearMoves is one of our companies that like I said, we established some time ago, just because we felt that there was a need in there. There's companies that do design, there's companies that do manufacturing, but we have a whole kind of, like we said, 360 concierge service that we have a web portal that brings everything into play and kind of finishes the entire process. We have no minimum, no requirement, no hidden fees when we do that. It is dentist controlled, meaning that you have the ability to speak with the designer to, perfect what you want to do. You approve it, and it's monitored throughout the process. And we help in that process by the use of our portal and the use of speaking with some of our consultants online, as far as who's done the treatment plan and so on and so forth. So basically, a couple different ways that we do it. We can do the treatment planning, and the doctor can do in-house manufacturing. Basically, you scan, kind of down here, you scan, you upload your digital records, you get the design, you approve it, you make the payment, and then the digital file download goes to your office. That gets uploaded into your 3D printer, and then from there you take over, do the thermoforming, the cutting, polishing to get to the final product.
Yeah, and later on, Mike, if you go back to this, I'm going to talk to you briefly about our new dental aligner trimmer. Go ahead, Mike.
Right. The next step would be the full concierge service. So you're giving it, whether it's our company or some other company, the ability to help you with this, and why it's a little different from a lot of the larger companies that are out there. We're small enough to care and large enough to deliver. It's extremely important when you're dealing with a company to manufacture your aligners or to do the design. There's not a disconnect there, and we help in that process. So again, in this, you upload your digital records. The treatment plan gets approved. And what's important in this is we have a pay-as-you-go invisible aligner ordering process. So if you want to do 2 or 3 stages, or if the patient can only make payments in 2 or 3 stages, that's an ability that you have with us. And as far as you don't need to have the entire case printed where you might need to do a mid-course correction or 2 corrections, and then all those aligners that have been produced for the entire case are now have to be destroyed. We do facilitate the manufacturing. Our manufacturers are FDA certified, 510K certified, and we complete that process of the communication, the documentation. Everything is within the portal, so you see from beginning to end where your case is at, where it's been, and then once it's delivered. As well as this, we have custom labeling, custom white labeling options, I should say, so that you can label everything from start to finish, from the bags to the little containers that the patients can keep their aligners in, is quite in detail, but we'll let the pros at the marketing kind of get into that later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, and that's kind of a picture of what our aligner system look like. They're all highly customizable. They have a custom trim. They all have a laser marking for traceability and FDA approval. And also we're using Sendura plastic, which is possibly one of the best plastics in the market. And I'm pretty sure Dr. Amanda Wilson can attest to that. But we want to work with the best materials available in the market. So go ahead, Mike.
So basically, this is our site. It's pretty simplistic. The doctor kind of sets up an account and moves forward from there. We're just giving you a kind of a brief overview of entering a case here. It's pretty simplistic, but it shows basically how the whole web portal system works, from the treatment planning to the putting in the entire case, whether you have files, pictures, you have a pano or a cone beam that you want to put in there as well to help facilitate the treatment plan processing. We've been told that our web portal is extremely user-friendly, and it doesn't require a lot of technical knowledge to get into it.
Right, and we continue. One of the things that is important to talk about is that we're always in constant pursuit of a better system, and we're always programming, developing, and coming up with new ideas and systems to make it more user-friendly for the doctors.
Exactly. So, we talk about whether you do it on your own or not, having this to facilitate it, whether you want to do one portion of it or not, is really important to keep track of where it's at, how it was done, what materials are used to produce it. And this keeps it all in one concise, kind of package, if you will. So I won't get too far into this, but you can see we have little tags here that kind of lets the doctor know where they are in that process. And there's comments and communication between the doctor and the lab itself, or between the doctor and the manufacturer as well. Yeah. Once that's completed, we talked about pay-as-you-go ordering. You have the ability to order in stages, so you can choose here how many you want to do in order to kind of move forward. If you want to do the first 6 stages of 12, you can do that, and then before the 4th stage is done, you just order the next set.
And that is very advantageous in many reasons, right? Because the doctor doesn't have to come out with the full amount to pay for the treatment planning, and it gives them time to kind of track the case and make modifications to the case, and then print the next aligners according to the treatment planning.
And right. I want to jump in because I don't think if everyone understands like the brilliance of what you just developed, but this is basically how DTC gets their clients, because they allow them to pay as they go. They pay a little bit and they get a few aligners, and they pay a little bit more and a few more aligners come. And now you can have, this is the only aligner company right now that's going to let you do that. Invisalign doesn't let you do that. You got to pay $1,863 right up top, or even for light, you got to pay $1,200 right up top. This is incredible. Now you can really offer this to your maybe, lower income patients in your office, and offer them aligners without having to take the hit on the lab fee. I love it. Thank you so much for doing that, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point, because we do have doctors that are in different areas where, you know, they want to provide this system for them. It's hard for them to compete with the direct-to-consumer, or it was harder for them. And this actually puts it into the patient's hands, and the patient can pay as you go as well. Obviously, if you're doing attachments or IPR, it's a little bit of a different situation, but it really allows more of the doctor's patients to get this treatment.
Well, and typically, you have to make the investment to make this happen, right? Because if you really wanted to go pay as you go, you will have to have the knowledge and the equipment and the process. Now, all you really need to have is just a scanner and send us the information, and we can provide you as we go.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So from here, we look at the integration. We have integration currently with the Medit i500 that Dr. Fisher spoke about, and the 3Shape intraoral scanner. So that actually gets integrated right inside our software. Obviously, we can take scans from any other scanner that's out on the market. This is just a more simplistic way to do it. So we don't, we're not like some of the other scanner companies or aligner companies out there that restrict you. It's a totally open system. We're allowed to, we can accept all scanners currently, but right now we have direct integration with these two.
And without getting too deep into it, obviously the folks that have a 3Shape scanner now they can utilize it to a good use.
That's great. They need some good news.
So as we said at the beginning, we do offer all the products that kind of go along with making aligners. Currently, right now, we do offer the Medit i500. Dr. Fisher mentioned he has one of those as well. And we just wanted to kind of let the folks know we are offering a special to all the StraightSmile Solutions folks that are on the webinar. It's kind of an extremely low price of $15,000, but we want to offer it to the folks on the webinar until January 24th is kind of when it is.
That's an awesome deal. And we're going to be segueing quickly into Dr. Moorhead and Phil with GP Ortho Tracking and Smile More Aligners, but they also have a Medit, just to let you know. So
Oh, fantastic.
it's very popular.
Yeah, great to know. You know, here's some of the other digital processing equipment that Dr. Fisher went over. We offer pretty much everything that's needed. One of the new systems that we've found, I believe Manny was talking about this before, but we now have the ability to help in mass production of in-house manufacturing with a new auto trimming machine that we've kind of vetted, and we're still looking at it, so it's coming soon. But for doctors looking to do in-house, this is kind of key.
Well, this is a game changer because, I mean, we've done some studies, and it takes even a person that is being cutting and polishing aligners, they can cut anywhere from 5 to 6 aligners per hour. With this, you can actually cut anywhere from 20 to 25 aligners almost ready to put in the patient's mouth. So that can actually reduce the time that it takes to deliver cases for those folks who are producing a lot of aligners.
That is awesome. And that's the part I hate most about in-house aligners. So it's great.
It
And
takes
I
a
have
long
a demo
time.
on this. If anybody wants to see it, just let me know.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, I think at this time, we kind of gave you a general overview of what we've done and what we do. We're happy to help consult and chat with anybody that's interested in kind of learning more. So we appreciate Dr. Amanda Wilson bringing us in on the webinar and everybody that's here today.
Yes,
Thank you
Dr.
so much
Wilson.
for being on. All right. And we can also answer Q&As at the end.